Hi, I'm Timothy Alexander White, your host and spokesperson for Festival at Sea, Blue World Travels 2014 trip. And we are here today for BlueTube Television. And this is where we get the opportunity to interview some of our entertainers and some of the important people that are here on this cruise. And today, Karwanna, my co-host, who has been such a pleasure for me to work with, we're going to sit here and talk to the Reverend Armstrong. And we'll find out what happened this morning at service. If you were there, I'm sure you already know. But if you weren't there, we can talk a little bit about that. So I'll tell you what. Let's talk to Armstrong and get some Reverend Pastor Armstrong, and you know, he's a personal friend of mine, so I sometimes forget that. But anyway, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Tim. It's always good to be here with you and Karwanna, and I want to commend you two for doing the great job that you do on BlueTube and all that you do for Blue World. And sort of want to say always to Patricia and to Herbert and for inviting all of us back. It's really their invitation that we do what we do on the ship and minister to the passengers. So we hope you are having a blessed time, and certainly always give Patricia and Herbert a shout out and all the Blue World staff.
All right, all right. Well, one of the things Karwanna and I talked about a little while ago was that what we learned, and he's the kind of pastor that preaches, but he also teaches. And we've talked about some preachers preach and some preachers teach. And if you can do them both, I mean, it's all the better. But we talked about something that you learned today, and you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, like I said, I'm always looking forward to Reverend Pastor Armstrong and his teaching ministry. So whenever you're on stage, it's like you always give something that people can take home. And the church service here at Festival at Sea is like something that I really look forward to because it helps to set the atmosphere for the rest of the cruise. And so I'm always amazed at your level of growth. Every year you continue to grow as you continue to bless the people. And so this morning, I definitely learned a lot about the 7 words of the 7 Hebrew words of praise, right? The Shabbats and the Baraks and things of that nature. I knew a little bit about it because of the song Shabbat, Hallelujah. Everybody knows that. But to dig deep into the meshes of what it really means and to understand how you put that into action is what I learned today. And so it's always a blessing. So thank you for sharing with us today.
I almost feel like I'm interviewing you. You and I are supposed to be interviewing him, but I said, well, what about this? So it's kind of.
I'm going to take it to the next level,
It's kind of funny. One of the things we always talk about is what we've started, the road that we've started down. But what I want to change gears just a bit and tell us about your day, your work, because I know you have a job and you have a church. So let's talk about what do you do every day and what do you do for fun? How's your weekends? Do you ever have time for that? Tell us a little bit about Reverend Armstrong. Let's get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Let me just first of all say God is blessing our church. We are actually in the middle of a building campaign. Okay. So the Shiloh Baptist Church of Trenton, New Jersey, if you're ever between New York or Philadelphia, come on and visit with us. We're right in the middle off I-95. Our church is 130 years old. In the last 109 years, we've only had 3 pastors.
You don't look that old, man.
Yeah, I think God has been keeping me young. My predecessor was there 53 years, wow. And his predecessor was there 42. So 95 years, only had 2. But the thing that I love most about...
You're about 15 years in then, right? I'm
15 years in. I'll be celebrating my 15th year next year.
Well, that in itself is sort of historical. That church is as old as has only had 3 pastors.
Yeah, well, not 3 in its entire history, just in the last 109 years. So from 1880 to 1904, there's about 14 pastors that cycle through, but in the last 109, it talks about the church's stability, that it's only had 3. So they do still jokingly say I need to stay around at least 50 more years, or 50 years, another 35 years to go. We are in the middle of a $6 million building campaign to build a new family life center, which we hope will be primarily a new youth recreational facility. We've got a lot of gang activity going on where we are. We actually have young boys and girls being sent to LA to get trained by Bloods and Crips and then sent back to New Jersey to prove their wares, if you would. So we're trying to break that up, right? We're trying to break up gang culture and gang involvement. We believe that giving young people an opportunity to have constructive engagement in the community, particularly after school, is what's going to help that. But the center that we're building is a total family life wraparound center. So youth recreation, we're also going to have workforce development for their parents. And then we're also going to have cultural arts. We're planning to build a 300-seat theater where we can do community plays, days. We have a hopefully built a 500-seat banquet facility where we could have some of the other culinary artists in the community have a place to do banquets and celebrate. So it's going to be a nice center. It's going to be a $6 million first project of 7. So we hope by the time the Lord is done, this would have been a $60 million infusion of public works for our local community. So we're excited about that. But I'm not pastoring our church.
Oh, yeah, I thought we would get to that in just a moment. I mean, because for just a moment, I thought he was all about that. But you've got to have a personal life. I know you have a beautiful wife. You've got 2 lovely children. So give us some.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. My wife Melanie is a beautiful woman inside and out. She is an awesome mother, and I call ourselves the amusement park family. So our fun when we go traveling is to find the amusement park that either has a Six Flags attachment to it or a Universal attachment. So we do a number of getaways to Legoland, to Busch Gardens down in Virginia, to Orlando, to California. And for me, it's time away from everybody, from the church, and it's just the 4 of us. It's my son Daniel, who's just turned 8, our daughter Maris, who will be 10 in November, and Melanie and myself. So, whether I'm in New Jersey, whether we're in Virginia or Florida, California, those are the special times that we spend as a family. So I let my hair down, I wear my tank tops and my flippers or my flip flops. There you go. And just do what we do. Just have some time.
Let me ask you this real quick. I know Karwanna has got some burning questions, but your son.
So we're not, listen, we're not trying to claim the territory that we're the only, male-female fraternal sorority bond. We're all the only official bond. But that notwithstanding, our sister Zetas will celebrate their 100th year, 1920. 1920 in 6 more years, 2020, and we celebrate this year, 1914 to 2014, our 100th year, our centennial. So thousands of Sigmas gathered at Howard University just last week to commemorate the founding of our fraternity, unveil a new monument on the campus of Howard University, and to say, 100 years is nothing to sneeze at. I think that we have one more of the Divine Nine that will be celebrating 100 years several more years later, but the Alphas have celebrated 100, 2006, the Kappa Alpha Psi is celebrated, and didn't mean to forget my Kappa brothers, and so Sigmas, we're proud, right? But we need to think of this as to whom much is given, much is required. The thing I hate of any fraternity or sorority is to somehow think you're special and privileged over someone who never had the opportunity to go to college. Right. No, you are a servant more so because you have the opportunity to go get a college degree and on to get graduate, any further degree. So we in these fraternities and sororities must not be exclusive. We need to be inclusive, and that's one of the models of Phi Beta Sigma, right? Brotherhood, scholarship, and service. That we believe in the inclusive we as opposed to the exclusive us. Okay. Right, this notion that we don't want to be exclusive. How do we bring brothers and sisters together? Too much exclusivity in our community right now. Black folk need to get more united than divided.
Okay.
So for like some aspiring college students people who are in college who are probably looking at Greek organizations and they probably think maybe it's just a social camp, like what can you tell them that being a part of that family and that organization has, how has that helped to shape you into the man that you are today?
Sure, I appreciate that. I didn't pledge undergrad, I pledged grad chapter. And so for me, wherever stage you join this fraternal sorority bond, it's about service. I don't think there's not one of the Divine Nine organizations that would not say they're not about service to the community. And so, again, I go back to the fact that be proud that many of these men and women in these organizations really were pioneers to help set a path that opened doors for so many others, right? I mean, you're talking about W.B. Du Bois, you're talking about A. Philip Randolph, you're talking about Martin Luther King, you're talking about sisters in all of the sororities that help open doors. And I always want to say a young man, a young woman, a young man, the road we're standing on today was paved by somebody who went before you. So honor your history, and the Black Greek letter organizations, really the Pan-Hellenic Council, really offer opportunities for scholarship, So developing your mind for cultural enrichment, developing your spirit, or developing your service, I would say. But the last thing, and that's why I put Jesus on this shirt. This shirt didn't have Jesus on it. I said I need to have Jesus embroidered because if I'm going to be a billboard, I want to make sure that there's a reason folk know what I do, why I do what I do. So the 3 letters and the 2 colors ought not define us, whatever your sorority or fraternal bond is. If you are a believer in a God, then you'd have to ask yourself, is my identity of my faith greater than my identity of my fraternity or my sorority? And the danger comes in when the fraternity and sorority becomes your God and not God. And so I put Jesus on the top of the shirt because I wanted to say Jesus is over it, right? I put Jesus on my right side because I wanted to say Jesus is, for me, the greatest thing about my identity. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a Mason or, you know, one of the brothers, fraternity members or sorority members, but always understand they didn't go to a cross for you. I don't care what founder, and I don't care how many, they didn't go to a cross for you. Remember who went to the cross for you. And as long as you remember who went to the cross, it's all right to do what we do, as long as you never put that before God. So, you know, for me, it's also a chance to witness. Is your name Jesus? They look at.
Well, I was going to say, well, you know, if you would have put it on the other side of the shirt, then it would have looked like it was your name.
You're
but,
right.
He's got it on the right side.
So it's a conversation starter. Hey, why is Jesus at the top of you? Is that your last name, middle name? I said, no, it's Jesus. And I'm a member of a Black Greek-led organization, but I'm a Christian. Right? So it gives me a chance to witness.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. We had a fabulous time talking to Reverend Darrell Armstrong. We can sit here and talk about God for a much longer period of time, but we're going to say farewell for now and make sure to tune in to BlueTube Television. We've got so many more artists and so many more people to talk to. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you, too.